Hey, hey, everybody, come on in the space. Happy Sunday. I pray that you're enjoying a beginning of a beautiful week. You had an opportunity to rest. It's Renita Alexander, the Leadership Locksmith, and this is Set It Up Sunday. I am here most Sundays, unless I'm traveling and not particularly in control of my schedule, as I was the last couple of weeks. So, at the beginning of May, I was actually in Alabama and Georgia visiting friends and family. Got a chance to do both. And then, of course, last week, Mother's Day weekend, I was with my daughter Renice, who is a flight attendant with Delta. And so I got to see her in action, and that was a lot of fun, and actually be on the flight that she was attending. So happy to be back with you. Thank you for joining me. If you're here live, just say hey, just say hello. Let me know you're here, and let me know what you're up to this weekend. So, of course, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I thought I would talk about some things and I promise to talk about some things that mothers in particular can do to just maintain a mental health. But before I get to that, let me just say, I said I traveled the last couple of weekends, and let me just say it was really good to be out of Chicago because I was done. I was done. The weather sucked. And I know for people who live in warmer climates, you're probably saying, well, it's Chicago. Well, yes, it is Chicago, and that is to be expected, especially in what we call spring, March, April, even May timeframe. And normally I am able to travel during that time, but I wasn't able to travel. And so I found myself stuck in Chicago at a time when, and I found this out after the fact, that there was 42, 43 days in April and May where there had only been one sunny day. So one sunny day, and the temperatures were a few degrees uh, less warm. And so it was just yucky. And I find, I have walked throughout the pandemic, even in the first early days when parts of downtown Chicago were closed. Grant Park was not closed. And so I would walk up to Grant Park and just get outside and, just layer. But for some reason, I couldn't go outside. And I think it was just too cold. And so I was ready to move. I had said some, not too pleasant things about my chosen hometown. So I was really glad to see the sun. And the thing is, having sunshine, being out in sunshine, it's just one of those things that we can do to help ourselves both mentally and physically. When we give our skin access to healthy doses of the sun, we experience all kinds of benefits, like, for instance, increased vitamin D. So we get a little extra dose of vitamin D just by being out in the sun. We also, some other things that happen when we're out in the sun, we just, our mood improves. It's not our imagination. It really does improve our mood, and it can also help with the quality of sleep. And so, for those of you that may have a hard time getting to sleep or staying asleep, that serotonin, which happens when we're exposed to the sun, is just going to help you be in a better mood and get better sleep. So all kinds of benefits to being out in the sun. And I've been taking advantage of this last few days when we have had a lot more sun. So that's one of the things that you can do. But there's some other things that you can do. And let me just say to the moms in particular, and I say this all the time, that I believe moms would rather be accused of being the B word than being selfish, right? So, moms try to avoid being selfish at any cost. But I think often what we think of as selfish is just self-care. It's just taking care of ourselves, and taking care of our mental health is not selfish. And it's really the only way that a mom can be fully present for her family. So those, your heartbeats, the your children, your husband, if you are married, your larger family, your friends. That's really the only way to be present, is to take care of yourself. And so I want to encourage moms, and these are things I've had to learn myself. I had to learn myself. I was a single parent for many, many years, and so I had to learn to give myself permission to say no to people and to commitments. And sometimes, I have found myself overdoing it. And so I get prayerful now. I remember recently I was praying about being involved in something, and I woke up in the middle of the night with a full plan. So it's like, okay, I guess that was something I'm supposed to be a part of. But it is okay to say no. And it's okay to find an outlet for yourself that, is not mom. So it's okay to do that. There was a post here from a friend on Facebook, and she was talking about, eating a meal without her children. That's okay. You can have a meal without your children, because they're greedy. They see you eating it, they're going to want some. But mom's got to eat too. Mom's got to nourish her body. So one of the other things that we can do is connect with people, and this is for everybody, not just moms, but connect with people, but especially moms. Finding those people that maybe are sharing, that you can share your experiences with as a mom. We are this workspace that we're often in. It really, I don't think, was really created for working moms, and we've done it and we've made it work. But we can find some support in those groups, and not just the mental support, but actually helping each other out. It's okay to ask for help as a mom, or as anyone. Asking for help doesn't make you a lesser person, a lesser mother, or whatever position you're in. It doesn't make you lesser. It just makes you more human. And so it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to take care of yourself spiritually, especially in chaotic times. I mean, oh my goodness, we are going through probably the most chaotic time, certainly of my long years. This has been chaos, and I say that, and having been a child through the civil rights movement. But we're enduring something that we have not had to endure. We've got a pandemic. There's a racial reckoning going on right now, as some people seem to be bent on starting a civil war. So we see, we just had the horrific incident in Buffalo, where Black people were targeted by white supremacists. So there's a lot going on that is chaotic, and that is can be anxiety inducing. And so relying on your spirituality, be it whatever that may be, can be a reassurance and of a greater force in these chaotic times. Can provide that sense of purpose and meaning, a way to understand suffering, and as well as a reminder of all the good in this world. And so taking care of that piece of your holistic health is important for your mental health. Staying positive. Now, I'm usually pretty positive, appropriately so. I try to be appropriately positive. But the thing is, one of the things I've learned is, as I think, so I am. And so if I can think positive, and when I find myself focusing on negative thoughts, trying to stop myself and replace and reframe those thoughts with something that's more positive, I feel better. And sometimes it's hard to do. It may feel like you're being not authentic, but making yourself think about what it is that perhaps you should be grateful for, can be grateful for in a moment when you're not being as positive, may be a way to stay more positive. And the other, being physically active. Now, I talk about that all the time. As I've talked about before, I'm a former fitness instructor. I have, I believe, we keep moving so that we can keep moving. Being active is just important to all of our well being. So it helps us physically, but also mentally and emotionally. And so making sure that you are doing something to move your body, it can relieve, pent up muscle tension. It can stimulate good hormones as opposed to the stress hormones, which are not good. You can find yourself feeling less stressed. I used to, there was a period, I remember when I would work out after work. I'm usually a early morning or mid-afternoon workout person, but I remember sometimes, especially when I was stationed in Germany, where I, wasn't able to get to the gym until right before I went home. But I would take about 30 minutes to just go to the gym, work out, and it would really relieve the stress. So then when I came home and I was with my daughter, I just could be more present for her and in a better mental and emotional space. So being physically active is just going to help you in so many, many ways. Now, I know, especially for moms, especially if you have a young child, getting enough sleep is a challenge. And so I know that. But if there are ways, to increase the sleep or to sleep when your baby's sleeping, and then for the rest of us who aren't dealing with maybe small children, just because we aren't able to sleep as well or stay asleep as long or go back to sleep when we wake up doesn't mean that we don't need sleep. And so we often assume because we don't sleep that we don't need as much sleep, but we do. And so making sure that you are getting enough sleep can entail making sure that you're going to bed at the same time. And I struggle with this, but if I can, I set an alarm, and sometimes I just don't pay attention to it. So, but trying to set a regular bedtime, making sure that you're not having caffeine late in the afternoon, making sure that you're drinking all the water, your gallon of water, however much you're drinking, early enough so that you don't necessarily have to get up and go to the bathroom multiple times. We've already talked about exercising and that kind of thing, but making yourself tired, doing enough throughout the day, that's going to make you tired, but not doing it right before bedtime. Again, give yourself a few hours between exercise and actually trying to go to sleep. And then when you are in your bedroom, your space, making that just a space for going to sleep and not working there. So I don't have a television in my bedroom. I try not to work in there. I do have a devotion space that's not on my bed. That's kind of my quiet space, but I try to make the bedroom just kind of a place where there's not work being done, and so that I don't associate that. It sometimes helps. I am one of those people that struggle with sleep, and I'm working it. I actually got 7 hours last night. So I was really proud of myself. So okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is what we're putting in our body, specifically what we're eating. And so I've adopted this saying of late, and that is eating to live. So we want to make sure that we're not eating for entertainment, but that we're eating to fuel our body. So just the things that Uncle Sam, I kind of I take Uncle Sam's list with a grain of salt. But I will say, getting a variety of foods is important. To include veggies are tops on my list. Fruit, low fat, lean meats. I try to stick to fish and chicken. Low saturated fats, and then not skipping meals. The idea of eating one big meal just really doesn't work for your body. It's not, your body's not getting enough fuel for throughout the day if you're just eating one big meal. So try to snack. There's all kinds of ways to eat healthy nowadays, and I know for a lot of people that's a challenge. And right now, with prices going up, that is a challenge. But I'm prayerful that things will kind of right themselves over the next few months, and we can have access to the things that are better for us. In the long run, eating healthy, it may seem more expensive, but in the long run, eating healthy is going to improve our health. And then the final thing I just want to say as I run out of time is I talked about support groups, but it is okay to seek professional help. And I think somebody said that in the notes, everybody should be in therapy. Yes, especially after the last couple of years. Everybody who can be in therapy should be in therapy. And there are a lot of online options nowadays. I will say the mental health community has really stepped up to the challenge. They knew that it would be a challenge. As things start to unravel in 2020, and it in fact has been, and so they have really stepped up to the challenge to offer so many ways that you can get to mental health. I will post some ways in my Facebook group, as well as the regular Facebook page where this is live, so that you can have access to that. So let's see. So I can't see your names because I am not looking at this on my phone. I'm looking at the hellos, et cetera, in StreamYard. So somebody enjoys sitting outside to work. Yes. Somebody, I had posted on Facebook being outside last week, and one of the people that I work with when I'm in my co-working space made a comment about me being outside. But the great thing about being able to work wherever is that you can work wherever. I can work from anywhere, and I do often work out from the lake. And now that the restrooms are open because they were closed during the winter, I can stay out there a little bit longer. And so, working outside is a great thing. Some offer a combo of virtual and in person. Jessica Dennis, okay, thank you for that recommendation. When I sought my therapist out in 2020, we did all our sessions virtually, and so therapy is a great thing. I totally endorse it. If our coach, our counselor, somebody that's certified, there are a lot of people out there that are willing and able to help. So don't be afraid to seek out that help if you need it, or I should say when you need it. Okay, well, thank you all so much for being here. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I am on IG. So I got my little jerry-rigged studio set up so that I could be on those platforms all at the same time. Thank you again for joining me. Hey, Brooklyn. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here, whether you're live or after the fact. Please comment if there's something that you liked. Comment if you want to add some tips to the list that I provided, and I will post this. I will also post this in the post where I'm live, so you can have all of it. There's a couple of things that I didn't get to, so I will post all the tips. But anyway, have a great rest of your Sunday and an amazing week. See you next week.